Chapter 9. After graduating from Abdelaziz Academy in Tripoli, Libya, engineer Saif Tahir had left Libya and gone to study weapons development at the University of Paris. Some skeptics scoffed at him. He returned from overseas, from France, on the day the leader of Libya was celebrating his 20th year in power. The leader's opponents were not happy with these celebrations.
Crackpots left alone and ignored.
He believed the ruler had the right vision for Libya and so was the right person to rule it. He defended the ruler. Engineer Tahir joined the Fist for Allah after his return from overseas. In a happy coincidence, the leader of Libya adored the Fist of Allah. He gave it all the money it asked for. Al-Qaeda struck on American soil. The leader of Libya knew America would retaliate and not necessarily with bounds of reason. He scrambled for his bases to shield Libya from America's revenge. He even dismantled the Fist of Allah itself.
I would have learnt to live with anything, but not with the dismantling of the Fist of Allah.
This was the beginning of Tahir's dislike for the leader. The dismantling of the Fist of Allah was shirk or sacrilege, an offense so dreadful that it was eternally unforgivable. Angry beyond words, Engineer Tahir now hated the man he had once liked. No more was the leader of Libya his hero, he had become a villain. Meanwhile, the dismantling of the Fist of Allah coincided with the peak of an unrelated crisis, the accident.
I fell in love with Rama Mahmood, a female member of the Fist of Allah and my junior staff mate at the weapons laboratory. I approached her.
She did not say anything. Later, she smiled and after some time she said no.
I misinterpreted the sweet no to a sour no and reacted to it violently. Unwisely, I vowed to retaliate.
Engineer Tahir slapped Rama Mahmood in the name of administering discipline to her for shedding her head veil in public, which was in violation of the Libyan culture. But the truth was, he did it to take revenge against someone who he thought had rejected his advances.
Discipline, revenge, or whatever it in fact was, I did not take it lying low. I struck back and hit his left eye and slit it open.
That was the accident. Engineer Tahir lost his left eye. He was hospitalized and discharged after a month. Turned bitter and vengeful, Engineer Tahir took Miss Mahmood to court. After proceedings, the court made a ruling based on Hammurabic verdict, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. With this ruling, Rama Mahmood also lost her left eye through surgery.
I sank into deep gloom. I refused to shake it off even after friends talked to me.
When friends persisted, he left Tripoli and moved east to live alone in Benghazi. There were two reasons for Engineer Tahir's gloom. One was objective, forcing, and lifeless. He got it after losing an eye in what he used to call the accident. The other was the effect, deep and weakening. This he got when he decided to have an artificial replacement for the eye he had lost. While in Benghazi, Engineer Tahir ran into a green-eyed stranger at a street-side cafe. The two got talking, mostly about the history of Libya. One such story was that Libya was inhabited by Phoenicians and Greeks.
The other man said he was a Berber. We had long conversations about Libya.
The visitor introduced himself as Mr. Tad Longway. Mr. Tad Longway described the mission that had brought him to Benghazi. Engineer Tahir enlisted on the spot.